Hi everyone, Happy New Year. Welcome to Sacred Timings with Swati. I'm Swati Kameshwar and this is the Sacred Timings for the month of January 2023. And it's been a while since I created a Sacred Timings report, and I've been very focused on my intentional creativity training and my painting assignments and incorporating all of that into my services. And I have been giving regular updates on the astrological energies on my blog and on Facebook and Instagram. And in this video, I want to share some of the gifts that were activated in 2022 that we can use as mastery practices going into 2023. So let's get started. First, let's do a quick recap of all the energies of 2022 and even in the previous years. And this kind of helps us to see and understand what's coming up ahead in this year. So we've had a lot of big transits in the past few years. Starting in 2020, we had the Saturn Pluto conjunction in Capricorn. That was very much the theme of shake-up of old structures, of death and rebirth and transformation, a very strong phase of transformation beginning. In 2021, we had three Saturn Uranus squares, and that was very much about old rules versus new realities and setting up new rules. It was also very much about your personal authority and freedom. And then in 2022, we had Jupiter conjunct Neptune in Pisces, and that happened just once. The theme of that transit was dissolution and change. So, a lot of old things dissolving, a lot of change happening at a very slow, sometimes very rapid, but very steady pace. This transit was also very much about helping us to develop a greater heart connection and getting us accustomed to non-linear flow. And that is something that we're going to talk about in today's video. Now, 2023, from the transits that we see that are going to come up in 2023, the change magnifies greatly. So, our ability to move through change is really going to be, um, we're going to be given opportunities to develop that ability and develop that skill. So, we have Pluto going into Aquarius and Saturn into Pisces. That's massive change in energy. Pluto going from Capricorn to Aquarius and Saturn from Aquarius to Pisces. And then we'll have Jupiter in Aries, and Jupiter will conjunct Chiron there. And then Jupiter will move into Taurus. We'll also have the nodes and hence the eclipses shifting into Aries Libra. So I'm going to be creating content and videos on these transits in the coming months. But today, I just want to give a precursor, like just a kind of a preview of what's going to be happening and how we can use these mastery skills that we have developed in 2022 and in previous years to help us navigate 2023 in the most beautiful way possible. So, I would like to start with just sharing a few personal practices. So, usually at the beginning of any year, I make a list of all the personal transits that will be activating my chart. And this provides a kind of like a weather forecast kind of information. It prepares me for the different kinds of energy that will get activated during the year. And the image in this slide has all, I had just jotted down very quickly all the transits that were activating my chart. But this helps to bring awareness, the shadow, and the highest essence, giving me a very good idea of the new consciousness that is being activated within me. And I'm really looking for that kind of information, trying to figure out what is a new consciousness that's going to get activated so that I'm prepared for it in order to I'm prepared to step into that new energy in order to receive the highest gifts from these transits. And I can honestly say that this awareness helps me to navigate the year consciously. And even when difficulties arise, I feel more balanced and prepared. And this is something I offer in my natal astrology natal chart readings, as well as coaching programs, Power of Balance, as well as a new course that's going to come up, the Gift of Your Authentic Voice. I offer this information as part of that in order to prepare clients for what's coming ahead. Now, you can see from this image that I went through Pluto, Chiron, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune transits pretty much throughout all the underworld, the middle world, and the celestial world transits. And the theme very much was about dissolving the past self. Now, even though I am sharing this as my own personal example, take what resonates from this, because I feel a lot of this was applicable even to the collective. So, very much the theme about dissolving the old self, dissolving the wounds, the doubts, the fears, old identities, in order to activate new gifts that will come along. So there's a new expression that's wanting to come through. And then how is that expression being manifested in this in the outer reality? So the transits have been very much along these lines, stepping out of the old and stepping into the new. So now let's look at the very first gift and hence the mastery practice that we want to take into 2023 with us, which is going to be essential. The first one is trusting the non-linear flow. So, from my own example, from my own life, I've noticed that I typically tend to do things in a non-linear way. That means I will not necessarily just follow a list. I'll be having multiple things going on in parallel. And my own inner guidance has shown me that I use less effort this way. At multiple times during the year, I had more than three projects ongoing, and I cycled through them rather than focusing on them one by one. And trusting this flow comes quite easy to me, but I also have a deep desire for order and completion. And so it can be very uncomfortable to be in that space when nothing is completed, everything is in flight, we don't know what's going on. And you know, last year in 2022, I realized that was okay. That was the nature of the energy, particularly Neptune, Jupiter, and Pisces energies were amplified, and those energies are very much about going with the flow. So to be aware of where the flow is moving towards and to align with that rather than to fight it. Now, in this coming year, we're going to have Saturn in Pisces. So there is going to be more of that activation of that Pisces energy, and the more we can embody the highest essence of Pisces, it's so much easier that way. So you might find in the coming year that following a linear structure and schedule can become very exhausting. And so developing that ability to trust the nonlinear flow, developing the ability to be present and make decisions from a calm, centered heart, and trusting the heart to guide the way is a skill, is a mastery practice that will truly help us in the coming year and even beyond that. Now, this is very much about the next mastery practice, which is about noticing how the time dynamics are shifting. So, over the last many years, I've had experiences of time expanding, and I had begun to see the link between regular emotional clearing and a sense of expansion in my experience of time. That means the more we empty ourselves of heavy emotions, the more freedom and spaciousness we feel within, and that shows up in how we experience linear time. But this year, like in 2022, I felt like that was quite magnified, and several times I experienced a sense of time stopping, just like time stopping still on the clock. And I usually don't speak of these personal experiences, but I want to share that as a way to um, bring to your awareness that the expanded consciousness energies that we are experiencing, they allow us to feel linear time in a different way. And remember that in the past few years, structures have collapsed. Old structures that were holding this reality in place have been collapsing. They're changing and dissolving. And this includes what we think of as the structure of time. So, linear time, how it has been functioning, it is flexible. And to experience that, there are something, if you want to experience that, one is that the first thing is to be aware that that possibility is there. And there's an element of surrender needed, of heavy emotions, of packed schedules, and of activities that drain us, anything that takes us out of that present moment. And conscious use of life force energy is key to allow this flow and to go with the flow. So, developing presence and the ability to be present with what is going on is important. And as our another very important thing that I've noticed in my life is that our relationship to time impacts our expression in a big way. And so, how we express is directly related to how we are experiencing time. And this is a topic that I will be diving quite deeply into, the gift of your authentic voice. This is a new course that I'm offering on transmuting the wound around communication into authentic, joyful expression. And I'll be talking about that later in this video. The next practice that we want to take with us into 2023 is continuing to activate our new skills, heart based skills. So, personally, in 2022, I focused on completing my sound healing practitioner certification and I started my intentional creativity teacher training. And both of these are brand new skills that I've added to my services. And what I've noticed is that when the old self dissolves, a new expression of the self is wanting to step forward. And this involves new skills coming online. So, one thing we want to do in the coming year is to pay attention and to be present to what does not have energy anymore. It could be old skills that you just don't feel like, even if you're good at something, you may just not feel like doing that anymore. And we want to pay attention to that because that is a part of that old energy dissolving. And uh, the new skills that are emerging, they need our time and our attention and our resources to activating them, to developing them. So we want to really treat these new skills as sacred and continue to work on those heart-based skills and increase our comfort level to in using them because they are forming a part of the expression of your new self. So, as I was saying, that I added sound healing and intentional creativity to my services, and that itself stretched me way out of my comfort zone in a very big way. And it required presence and patience and commitment to expanding my comfort level with that. And this was actually one of the gifts that the Saturn and Uranus brought to me, the Saturn Uranus transits that I had in my own chart. It was awakening new skills and really giving me that capacity to do the steady, consistent work that is needed in order to bring a level of mastery to those skills. So, this is part of curating your new expression, activation of those new skills, and giving time and energy to them. The next practice that we want to carry with us into 2023 is magnifying art and nature. And this was actually very clear guidance I received when I created a collage earlier in 2022. I've noticed that I connect most easily to the divine when I'm in nature and when I'm painting. And I naturally felt drawn to being on the land more and more with Gaia and in nature for long periods of time. And I noticed that being out in nature was really allowing me to integrate the new frequencies and the vibration of Gaia easily. So, since the Pisces energy has been magnified with Neptune and Jupiter and now Saturn in Pisces, there is an ability, a greater opportunity to step into our creator state and creative processes and acts of creation with intention. They really impact our personal and collective reality. So, through the act of creation, we are able to um, create our reality. And when we do it intentionally, that does have an impact, a very big impact. And that's why the magnification of like amplifying creative activities in your life is something that can very much support you to create the reality that you want. Also, connecting to Gaia on a regular basis is important because she's the one leading the way here in this ascension process. And that's why nature is where the magic lies. So, spending more time in nature is an important practice. It's actually a very key practice for me going forward. If I want to live on New Earth, connecting with her on a regular basis is a non-negotiable practice. The next practice, mastery, skill, and practice that we want to build in 2023 is amplifying peace and stillness in our lives. So, there's a direct connection between time and nature and access to your stillness within. And for me, I notice that when I'm in nature, um, that's one way I am able to really calm down. The mind chatter ceases easily, and I'm able to be in my heart more effortlessly. And this is perhaps the biggest gift that I received this year, this access to that peace and stillness, no matter what is going on externally. So, um, allow yourself to give yourself time to do practices that create that peace within. That's going to be one of the biggest skills that we cultivate in the coming years. Being able to trust the heart in the stillness becomes so much easier when you're surrounded by chaos and you're able to trust your heart in that stillness. Then life becomes so much easier. So, this is truly, I feel, a very key mastery skill to cultivate. greater aliveness, doing things that make us feel more alive. So we had we've had the nodes in Scorpio and Taurus all of last year in 2023, and we're going to that's going to continue for a few more months. But that's about giving us more access to our life force energy, to more aliveness and passion, and to do the things, the activities that allow for our life force energy to flow, and bring doing the activities that allow the life force energy to flow more easily and to feel delight in the body. Paying attention to what drains you and what energizes you is absolutely key. So, this is a really good time to take honest inventory of your life and to consciously choose to do the things that make you feel alive and continue to expand on that ability and that skill going forward. And then finally, uh, the last mastery skill that I wanted to talk about was language, up leveling our language as a way to up level our expression. So during 2022, I had many phases of not wanting to speak for long periods of time. And that meant that I didn't feel like writing articles, I didn't feel like making videos. I had access to more stillness and more peace within. So naturally, I wanted to stay in that phase for as long as was practically possible. And that implied that anything that I wrote or created had to be intentional and purposeful. So I became very much aware of where my life was energy was flowing towards. That included people and activities, and using it in an aligned way was very much key for me. So this is part of our old self dissolving and that new expression coming forth. We sometimes need to be in that stillness and in that silence to recalibrate that new expression. And so, if you notice that that's happening with you, allow yourself to be in that space of stillness so that you can create more intentionally. And this starts with upleveling your thoughts and words, communication, and that flows into your actions. And this was personally, I felt like this was part of the gift of Pluto squaring my Chiron and my South Node in in the third house of expression and communication. It sort of composted the old way I was expressing, and I had to really be in that place of quiet and stillness in order for a new expression to come through. And as a result of this, the gift of your authentic voice was born. This is my new course on transmuting the wounds and blocks to enable higher expression. And we start on Feb 1st in this course, and you can check out. I'll post the link here in the video if you're interested. But this course is about noticing: are you communicating from the wound? Is your expression coming through in a free way? And in this course, we go through Chiron, Pluto, and Saturn blocks in the natal chart, how they are impacting your verbal and your creative expression, and how that impacts your relationships, your career, and your life purpose, and so on. So, I want to share a painting I did over the last week of 2022 as I was preparing to lead this course. And this painting is a version of my muse, who is a voice of fierce and discerning truth. And she guides me, she's always guiding me to my highest path with integrity. And so here are some questions that she posed. These questions are: what wants to awaken you what wants to awaken in you in this coming year in 2023? What new skills want to come forth? How will your expression evolve and change and flourish? And what does your soul want to express through you? And finally, how will you honor this soul desire? So these are some really good journaling prompts. And if you feel called to break out of the box and really activate your soul's highest expression, take a look at the gift of your authentic voice. In this course, I use all my skills in astrology and coaching, and having worked with the wounds of Chiron, Saturn, Pluto in the natal chart for myself as well as clients, and I combine that with my passion with intentional creativity. So, this course is really a culmination of my own journey of the past 6 years and direct experience in transforming the wounds into joyful self expression. So, the link is activateyourtruthandpower.com/GYAV, the gift of your authentic voice. And there's an early bird offer till January 23rd. So if you feel called to check it out, please do so. And finally, that's all for this month. I'm deeply grateful for what 2022 brought into my life, and I'm really excited about 2023 and what it's going to bring to us. And I really hope that what I have shared in this video inspires you in your own journey in the year ahead. I'd love to hear from you what this sparked for you and what are you most excited about in 2023. And here I'm sharing some links how we can stay connected. I also have a new free gift on my website. You can check out the 3 keys to unlock your soul's highest expression. They are at activateyourtruthandpower.com slash free dash resources. And finally, wishing you a most beautiful 2023 and may you experience joy and peace and align to your highest path. Thank you. Bye.